You've been chasing this moment your entire life. The money, the relationship, the body, the job, the house, the version of yourself you promised you'd become. And then one day you actually get it. All of it. And here's where I need you to stop, because nobody ever talks about what comes next. Nobody warns you. Nobody sits you down and goes, "Hey bro, you might want to prepare for this part." Because the part after you get everything you want, it is the strangest, loneliest, most disorienting experience a human being can have. And you've been sprinting toward it your whole life without knowing that. For real bro here, where we say what no one else will. Shh. Now before you think you know where this is going, you don't. Because this isn't one of those videos where someone tells you money can't buy happiness and then proceeds to own 4 vacation homes. No. This is something way more uncomfortable than that. Something that nobody who got what they wanted is willing to admit out loud. And the reason they won't admit it is the exact same reason you're still chasing yours. Part 1. The finish line that wasn't a finish line. Let's go back to the version of you that was struggling. Maybe that was 2 years ago. Maybe that was last Tuesday. Doesn't matter. Picture that person. They had a list. Not a written list, but the kind of list that lives in your head at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep. The I'll be happy when list. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I lose the weight. I'll be happy when someone finally chooses me. I'll be happy when the number in my account has 1 more 0. That list. You know the one. We all have it. We've all been building it since we were kids. And the thing is, that list works. It's actually a great motivational tool. It gives you direction. It gives you fuel. It gives you something to point at when life gets ugly and go, "That's why I'm doing this." The problem is nobody ever told you what the list is actually for, because the list isn't a map to happiness. The list is a map to the next list. Here's what happens when you hit your first big goal, the weight loss, the relationship, the job offer, whatever it was. You feel it for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 if you're lucky. There's this incredible rush, this warmth, this "I did it" energy that feels like exactly what you always imagined. And then Tuesday rolls around again, and your alarm goes off. And you're lying in the same position in bed, except now you have the thing you wanted, and your brain is already quietly, sneakily, looking for the next thing. You don't even notice it happening. But it's happening, like a software update you never asked for. Your brain just resets the goalpost. And this is where it starts getting weird. Because now you're not the person chasing the dream anymore. You're the person who caught it. And those are 2 completely different people with completely different problems. Things are about to get much bigger than you expected. Part 2. The thing Nabat tells you about winning. Okay, so let's say you did it. Let's say you actually got everything on the list. And I mean everything. The money's there. The relationship's solid. You're in shape. Your career is genuinely going well. You look at your life on paper, and it's exactly what you drew on the napkin 5 years ago. Congratulations, by the way. Sincerely. Now let me ruin it for you. Because here's the thing about achieving your goals that achievement culture never mentions. Every single goal you've ever had came with a built-in identity. The person who wants to lose weight has an identity. They're fighting something. They have a battle. They have a story. They wake up every day with purpose baked in because the mission hasn't been completed yet. But the person who already lost the weight, they wake up with a question mark because the war is over. The Theory warns you that winning the war comes with an unexpected enemy, the silence after. Then now what? People talk about the hustle like it's a sacrifice. Like once you're done hustling, you get to rest. But nobody tells you that the hustle was also the thing keeping you sane. The chase was the relationship. The struggle was actually the fun part. I know that sounds crazy, but stay with me. You know what's genuinely funny about humans? We are built to want things we don't have. We are biologically wired to anticipate, to pursue, to climb. Studies show. And I'm not going to cite them because you know the drill with YouTube citations. But it's basically accepted that anticipating something good activates way more dopamine in the brain than actually receiving the good thing. Meaning your brain is literally more excited about the idea of getting what you want than about having it. You've been walking toward a celebration your nervous system already threw without you. But here's where it quietly gets dangerous. Because the thing helping you, the dream, the goal, the ambition, has also been gently hiding something. Something you haven't had to look at because you've been too busy running toward everything else. Part 3. The quest was always there. Shh. There's a version of this that nobody wants to say out loud at a dinner party or in a motivational speech. but we're saying it here because that's literally the whole point of this channel. When you are chasing something, you don't have time to sit with yourself. That's not a side effect of ambition. That is sometimes the point of ambition. Some people build empires because they genuinely love building, and some people build empires because the moment they stop building, they have to sit in a quiet room with a version of themselves they've never actually met. And that version is not particularly pleasant to hang out with. The goal wasn't just a destination. The goal was also noise. Beautiful, necessary, life-giving noise that drowned out the stuff underneath. The unprocessed grief. The childhood thing you thought you moved past. The relationship pattern you keep repeating. Fear that maybe none of this was ever really about the money or the body or the career. Maybe it was always about the feeling of being enough. And then you get everything you wanted, and the noise stops. And the guest who was always sitting quietly in the corner of your life, the one you've been too busy to deal with, is still there, except now the house is quiet, and they've been waiting, and they've got a lot to say. I know what you're thinking. Okay, but I'm actually fine. I don't have deep unresolved stuff. I just want to be rich and successful. Cool. Totally valid. But here is the hilarious part. Even the people who are genuinely emotionally healthy, genuinely self-aware, genuinely grateful for everything they've built, even they hit this weird flat stretch after the peak, because it's not just about emotional baggage, it's about identity, about who you are when the thing you were chasing is already in your hand. You are now trapped inside something you thought you wanted. Part 4. The part where you sabotage it. And this is where it gets genuinely hilarious and horrifying at the same time, because this is where humans do the most human thing imaginable. They get everything they wanted. They feel the emptiness after the high fades. They don't understand why they're not as happy as they expect. And instead of sitting with that discomfort and figuring it out, they blow things up. People leave perfectly good relationships right after they stabilize. They quit jobs that are going incredibly well. They pick fights for no reason. They make weird, risky financial decisions when the money is actually good. They start drama in friend groups. They self-medicate. They start 3 new side hustles the second the first one succeeds. Because unconsciously, the chaos feels more familiar than the calm. The chase felt like life. The arrival feels like something is wrong. This is called self-sabotage. And we all know the word, but we act like it's this rare condition that only happens to people on reality TV. But it's happening to regular people constantly. The person who finally gets the healthy relationship and then starts becoming cold for no explainable reason. The person who works for years to get promoted and then suddenly can't perform. The person who loses 40 pounds and then slowly, quietly, gains it back over 18 months while telling themselves it's temporary. It's not weakness. It's not stupidity. It's your nervous system doing what nervous systems do. It's finding its way back to the environment that felt normal. Because the struggle felt normal. The wanting felt normal. The having is foreign territory. And foreign territory is uncomfortable even when it's beautiful. And here's the kicker. Here's the part that should make you gasp, but probably just makes you groan because deep down you already know it. The biggest obstacle between you and keeping everything you ever wanted isn't the world. It's the version of you that still believes you don't deserve it. There is one final truth that nobody saw coming. And it's already inside the room. Part 5. What you were actually chasing the world time? Okay, this is the part. Buckle up. Everything you've ever wanted, every goal, every dream, every item on that 2 a.m. list, you didn't actually want the thing. You wanted the feeling you believed the thing would give you. The money wasn't about money. It was about security. About not feeling helpless. About feeling like you had options, and nobody could take anything from you. The body wasn't about the body. It was about feeling like you were in control of something when everything else felt chaotic. The relationship wasn't about the person. It was about feeling chosen, seen, worth showing up for. Here's the theory reveal moment. The one that flips everything. The reason getting everything you want can feel hollow. The reason the silence is deafening after the achievement is because you spent your entire life outsourcing the feeling to the external thing. You told yourself the feeling would arrive with the achievement, but the feeling was never there. The feeling was always inside the chase, always inside the effort, always inside the version of you that was fighting for something. The person fighting for the dream has purpose. The person who caught the dream has to build purpose from scratch. And nobody teaches you how to do that. Nobody puts that in the YouTube tutorial. Now here's the callback moment that I need you to sit with. Remember at the very beginning, I mentioned the 2 a.m. list, the I'll be happy when list. The cruel joke of that list is that it never actually ends. Every achieved goal just gets replaced by a new one. And here's the thing. That's not a flaw. That's not a bug in the system. That's the whole design. Humans are not meant to arrive. We are meant to move. The problem isn't that the list keeps growing. The problem is believing that the last item on the list is where the happiness lives. It was never at the destination. It was always in the motion. It was always in the version of you that decided the thing was worth wanting in the first place. The happiest version of you isn't the version that got everything. The happiest version of you is the version that finally realizes the getting was never the point. The point was who you became in the process of going after it. And once you understand that, once it actually lands in your bones and not just your brain, you stop needing the arrival to feel complete. Because you're already complete. But you were complete the whole time. And that is both the most liberating and the most annoying realization a person can have. Because you wasted a perfectly good existential crisis sprinting toward a finish line that was a hallway all along. So, I want to know. Drop it in the comments. Tell me the one thing you thought would fix everything. The thing you were absolutely certain was the answer. And then tell me what actually happened when you got it. Not what you told people happened. What actually happened. Because I guarantee you there are people watching this right now who are too scared to say it out loud, but would feel infinitely less alone if someone just said it first. Be that person. Or don't. No pressure. Just know that everyone else is thinking the same thing and also not saying. And if this video somehow found you exactly when you needed it, which, statistically, based on the algorithm it absolutely did, then maybe consider sticking around. Not because I'm going to tell you to subscribe or whatever, but because apparently your recommendation feed already decided we should be friends. And honestly, who am I to argue with the algorithm? It clearly knows something we don't. That's a little terrifying. But also, for real bro, same time tomorrow.